76 million years ago, a vast herd embarked on a journey that would end in one of prehistory's greatest tragedies. They didn't know what awaited them. This wasn't their first migration. For generations, Centrosaurus herds followed the same ancient path, moving with the rhythm of the seasons and the changing weather patterns. But what seemed like instinct protecting them from coastal floods was actually guiding them towards something far more dangerous. The monsoon season had begun early this year. These ceratopsians were herbivores, peaceful giants weighing up to 2 tons each. Their only defense against predators was their numbers and their formidable horns. The monsoon rains arrived with unprecedented fury. Within hours, dry riverbeds transformed into raging torrents. Yet the herd had no choice but to press forward. They were being watched. Hidden in the forested slopes, Daspletosaurus packs had anticipated this migration. These apex predators knew exactly where the herd would pass. But the Daspletosaurus weren't the architects of what was coming. They were merely opportunists, waiting for nature itself to spring the deadliest trap of all. Within the herd, the young and vulnerable stayed close to their mothers. But in the chaos of thousands moving together, even maternal protection had limits. The monsoon had already been falling for days before the herd arrived. The earth beneath their feet was saturated, unstable, and growing more dangerous with every step. And then they reached it, the crossing point their ancestors had used for millennia. But this year it had become an impassable barrier of churning water and death. Confusion rippled through the thousands. The leaders hesitated at the water's edge, but the momentum of the herd behind them was unstoppable. They were being pushed forward. The Daspletosaurus attacked. With the herd trapped between water and predators, the hunting strategy was simple. Create panic, separate the weak, and feed on chaos. But for all their ferocity, the predators were merely claiming scraps. The river was the true killer, claiming victims by the dozens with every passing minute. This was no ordinary predation event. This was a natural disaster on a catastrophic scale, where the weather itself became the most efficient predator of all. For those swept into the torrent, survival was measured in seconds. The current's power was absolute, spinning multi-ton bodies like leaves in a storm. A few managed to reach the banks, clawing desperately at the mud. But the saturated earth offered no grip, and exhaustion claimed even the strongest swimmers. Those still on the bank faced an impossible choice: advance into certain death in the water, or retreat into the jaws of the Daspletosaurus pack. The Daspletosaurus had never seen such abundance. Their usual hunting strategies were unnecessary. Victims were everywhere. Yet even these efficient killers couldn't consume a fraction of what lay before them. What was unfolding here would create one of the richest fossil beds ever discovered. Thousands of Centrosaurus dying in a single event, in a single location. This was the monsoon's doing, a confluence of unprecedented rainfall, rapid flooding, and timing that caught the migration at its most vulnerable moment. A perfect storm of extinction. Hours passed. The rain continued. The river claimed hundreds more. By the time the storm finally broke, the death toll was catastrophic beyond measure. Dawn revealed the full horror. What had been a mighty herd of thousands was reduced to scattered survivors and an unprecedented mass grave stretching for miles. Perhaps 10% survived, those who fled backward despite the predators, those who found high ground, those simply lucky enough to be at the herd's edges. Even the Daspletosaurus were sated. For weeks, scavengers would feast on this bounty. But their role in this tragedy was ultimately minimal, mere opportunists following nature's lead. In the days that followed, scavengers from across the region converged. Flying reptiles, early mammals, other predators, all drawn to the unprecedented concentration of death and decay. The river that killed them would also preserve them. Successive floods buried the bodies in layers of sediment, beginning the slow transformation into stone that would last millions of years. 76 million years would pass. Continents would drift, mountains would rise. The entire landscape would be utterly transformed. But beneath the surface, the evidence remained. In Alberta, Canada, paleontologists discovered something extraordinary. Thousands of Centrosaurus fossils in a single bone bed, all showing evidence of catastrophic drowning. The mystery of what happened here began to unfold. The fossils told the story. Broken bones from the force of the current, individuals of all ages mixed together, geological evidence of catastrophic flooding. This was no normal death assemblage. One catastrophic day, 76 million years ago, changed forever our understanding of mass death events in the ancient world. The monsoon that took thousands of lives also preserved their story for eternity, waiting to teach us that sometimes nature's fury eclipses even the fiercest predators. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of dinosaurs, like, share, and leave a comment. Tell us which part amazed you the most and what other prehistoric stories you'd like to see. See you in the next video.